Good morning and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. I'll bet you didn't know that Hans Christian Andersen was a Lutheran. And likewise, I'll bet you probably didn't know that Dana Carvey and Jeff and Bo Bridges were Lutherans either. Those are just some of the Lutherans who have become well known in our society. That's our topic this week and next week. We want to look at some famous and influential Lutherans from history as we lead up to Reformation Sunday, and to look how they shaped and responded to the world around them. And while most of the Lutherans we have looked at and will look at in this series are very well known, the one we will look at today is not quite so much so, at least here in the United States. However, if we lived in Europe, and especially Scandinavia, we all would have heard of Kaj Munk. Munk's parents died in Denmark when he was young, and another family adopted him. After his education, Munk was ordained in 1924 and called to serve one of the smallest parishes in Denmark. He married a local woman, and they had 5 children together. As Adolf Hitler came to power in Germany, at first Munk supported the way Hitler managed to unify the German people and hoped that Denmark could get a leader that would do the same for them. However, when he saw the way the Nazis treated the Jews and how Mussolini waged war in Ethiopia, he began to strongly oppose them, even writing an open letter about it, published on the front page of the newspaper in 1938. Meanwhile, in his parish, Munk had also developed into a well-respected playwright, publishing several plays and having them performed across Denmark. When he thought about resigning the parish to work full-time on his plays, the congregation urged him to remain, and even hired an assistant to take over some of his pastoral duties so that he could write more. As the Nazi occupation and oppression grew, his plays became more and more pointed against them, until he published a play called He Sits at the Melting Pot, which was a drama attacking Hitler's treatment of the Jews. Despite friends who urged Munk to go underground, he continued to preach against Danes who collaborated with the Nazis. Because of his outspoken resistance, in the fall of 1943, Munk was arrested and put in jail. Released about 2 months later and forbidden to preach, he did preach the first Advent sermon at the National Cathedral in Copenhagen. A month later, on January 4th, 1944, Munk was arrested by the Gestapo. The next morning, his body was found in a ditch. He had been shot in the head. More than 4,000 people defied Nazi orders and attended his funeral. Kaj Munk is commemorated not only for his own bold witness to the faith, but also as a symbol of the many thousands who bravely, but with less attention, resisted Nazi tyranny. You may never have heard of Kaj Munk, but he lived out the courage of his convictions. Perhaps his life calls us to do the same. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.